Some fighters win with speed, some with timing, and some just rely on pure power. Artur Beterbiev instead wins by breaking something most fighters rely on: their guard.
Marquez me rounds and rounds earlier. Holland takes a knee as he goes down.
Not with one punch, but with constant pressure that can seem harmless until it isn't.
He drops him. The referee has said no.
Because against Beterbiev, shots that appear blocked are doing damage. Every exchange weakens the defense, which means every round the openings get easier.
And down he goes after a hard left uppercut.
By the time the finish comes, it doesn't feel sudden, it feels unstoppable. It feels inevitable. This is the science of guard destruction with Artur Beterbiev. Against Joe Smith Jr., Beterbiev faced a fellow champion with a dangerous arsenal and relentless attitude. But early on, Artur establishes something subtle but extremely important: his power right hand and how he can find ways around his opponent's guard. Here he frames with his left and launches a right hand that's eaten on the guard. Not deterred, he immediately throws the same again, this time dropping his fist over the top of the guard in an almost clubbing motion that thuds around the arena. And if you stand still in front of Artur, he'll keep chaining these shots over and over.
Even when Beterbiev makes contact with the high guard, he can punch through the defense of his opponent, right through third glove.
Beterbiev wasn't just breaking down the guard of Joe Smith though, he was timing him perfectly. Here, as the first jab comes out, then the second, he finds the timing for the third as he slips and throws the right hand over the top and drops him.
Coming forward behind the jab here, closing seconds. Oh! Off balance and scores the knockdown, does Beterbiev!
Once on the inside and exchanging, Beterbiev can look to open up his opponent's guard further. Exchanging here, his left hook smashes the guard again, all to set up the right hand on the opposite side. He then covers the two follow-up shots before sending back his own left hand in between the small window and opening as Smith is loading up his own right. And it's not just about finding the holes in opponents' guards, it's about reading their defensive patterns while on the attack and finding ways to exploit them. Here he throws the same right hand again and Smith ducks under it. As Smith jabs back, the same as before, Artur counters, only this time Beterbiev slips and throws the uppercut instead of the right hook. It lands as he ducks into it. Then Artur will just let things go and start to smash through your defensive walls. He fires straight into his left hook, then right hook, which smashes up through the guard again. Against the ropes, his left hook beats the right hand on the inside once more, and then on the right hook, the block comes up, but it still blasts him through his guard. And to finish, he finds a straight right down the middle of the guard into a left hook that blasts him off his feet.
Road grading opponents, another right hand gets around the guard. Uppercut tries to sneak in. There's a hook. There's an uppercut. Beterbiev's on the attack. Joe Smith is crumbling again into the ropes.
As his opponent's arms get weaker and heavier from all the damage, more and more of his shots start to just cut straight through opponents' defenses. He throws the right hand over the top that wobbles him through the guard yet again. And again here, expecting the jab from Smith on the reset, this time he ducks under and goes left hook to the body, then back up to the head. Before he quickly frames the left hand just behind the head to find the perfect place for the right hand on the temple to follow up again. Accuracy is just incredible.
Sweeping overhand rights, a left to the body.
Eventually, his punches just completely crush through the block of his opponent. The overhand right wobbles him through the guard again. Artur then steps across to meet him and throws the lead uppercut right as Smith is level changing to get away from the right hand that's been landing. And then after that, immediately a right uppercut that splits straight through the guard. All before finding another clubbing right hand again around the open guard that has the ref wave off the fight.
Another right hand. Uppercut. Big uppercut. He is stumbling and this is over.
This one ended in just 2 rounds with Beterbiev absolutely walking through Smith. More of these tactics were on display in his matchup with Browne, a man with great movement and a southpaw which made it even harder to track him down early. Marcus was working well off his right hand, jabbing and circling. As the rounds wore on though, Artur was able to corner Marcus and start to find the cracks in his armor. Here a straight right finally blasts down through the middle of the high guard. Beterbiev then puts the left hook behind it, which breaks through the right hand of Browne trying to block. Then Beterbiev immediately angles off, touches the guard with the right uppercut to scoop him once again into an overhand left, now from southpaw, that clubs the guard once again. And while doing so much work up top in this fight, Artur was able to start ripping to the body. Here he throws his right hook hard to the body instead, as he then steps off and angles again to throw a straight right down the middle into a left hook to the body. And all of this was working to bang up the torso of Marcus.
You can just hear the power of Beterbiev when he throws those shots, when they land on the arms or body.
And Beterbiev just kept up the pressure non-stop against the evasive Marcus Browne. Here he steps all the way in with a long jab to close the distance, and you can see he actually has speared the hand through the guard already, and then drops the massive right hook around the side onto the guard, which blasts through the defenses. Once he found his flow and distance in this fight, the pressure was keeping his opponent against the ropes, where again Artur would just start to touch up the guard with short shots. Right hand lands here on the guard, and then a jab straight to the high hands before he just goes back to the body with the lead left hook. But without shots coming back from his opponent, Artur just starts to accumulate the strikes. An uppercut, right hand, and then next left hook shot starts to blast open the guard once again as more shots start landing, and the left hook here lands around the guard once more. He lightly touches the guard here with a 1-2, which has Browne pulling all the way backwards, and that exposes him again for another hard left hook to the body. A left uppercut and a right hand then blasts open the guard once again, and then the left hook wraps around the outside and smashes through, glancing off the temple of Browne. It doesn't matter that his hands are up, Artur is just too relentless and too powerful.
Browne trying to counter off the ropes, but Beterbiev just overwhelming him right now. And Browne just covering up as the seconds tick away. Will they give Beterbiev another round?
He was just forcing these punches down the middle and crushing Browne. He jabs, then comes forward with a right hand that just blasts through the guard once more, and another right hand that wraps around the guard and lands. No matter where Browne went, it felt like he could not get away from the incoming shots of Beterbiev. And all of this offense started to accumulate as a straight right, lead uppercut, straight right all just bounce off the guard of Browne, which leaves open the left hook, which smashes through it once more and turns over the chin.
Really push Marcus Browne in the corner, flipping low like he's doing here.
Beterbiev is a tough man to contend with when he feels that he has you hurt. Good shot to the body.
Left hook to the body.
And a right hand right behind it, and Marcus Browne will take a knee.
Still lots of time left in this round, Corey.
These multiple short shots are so effective in overwhelming his opponents while he sets up the power. The same thing with multiple shots here that just break through the guard entirely now, just punching through the defenses rather than going around them. After tons of punishment, Beterbiev fakes the left hand into the left hook, which breaks through and scoops his opponent to the right into a straight, then left hook, which breaks through the guard again. Then as Artur steps in, this straight right down the middle cuts open the defenses once more, and as he has him backed up once more, goes back to touch the guard before blasting him to the body into another uppercut up the middle that finishes it. Marcus Browne was evasive early, but his defenses took an absolute onslaught until they broke down entirely. And these same tactics are on display with his masterful destruction of Callum Smith. Early on in the fight, Artur was again tapping away at the gloves and hands. All of this tapping though was not only working the guard, but also forcing head movement out of Callum Smith, which forced openings again for Beterbiev. Here Smith slips to the outside and Beterbiev double taps with the right to send a big left hand, and again follows up with clubbing shots breaking through the guard. None of this is accidental. The placement of Artur's shots are almost second to none. Here he reads space and distance perfectly, drops his right hand twice over the top. He was also again in this fight able to take advantage of his opponent's jab hand against Callum. Here he meets him with a right hand over the top of the extended left jab, and then the right hand finds a hole above the top of the guard. Artur's right hook then completely blasts right between the guard and smashes it open once more. He moves forward as the straight right hand flies and bounces Smith off the ropes before doing the same thing, touches him again lightly before setting him up for another right hook that blasts right through the guard again.
Oh, sets him up. Balance. Set him up. Never been knocked down. Smith is in trouble. Beterbiev caught him with a right hand. And now the head attack. Left and right. And that is the first time the former champ has ever been down. Watch out. Here comes Beterbiev.
By the halfway point, Smith was completely stationary against the ropes, and there seemed to be nothing he could do to protect himself, even trying desperately to keep his hands high. All of these hooks were wrapping through the guard at this point, with it being clear Smith could not protect himself against the onslaught. Ultimately, the defenses crumbled and it was another win for the Bulldozer. Across each of these fights, the same pattern begins to emerge. What looks like pressure is also a process where the guard is first tested, then manipulated, and eventually crushed. This is what makes Artur Beterbiev different. He isn't waiting for mistakes in the way most fighters do. Instead, he's creating them by targeting the defensive structure, punches shifting arms into position, and each round places a little more strain on a guard that still looks intact but steadily loses its function. So when the finish finally comes, it's the result of accumulated pressure and deliberate damage to the defense itself. It's a fighting system that turns defense and blocking from protection into a liability, forcing what he wants out of his opponents, and that is the science of guard destruction. And Artur Beterbiev might just do it better than anyone in boxing history.